Imagine this: a regular day at Al Nassr's training center. Cristiano Ronaldo, the man who redefined what it means to be a global icon, is on the field, sweating like any other player but radiating an energy that few can match. He runs, dribbles, and finishes with the surgical precision that made him famous. But something different happens that day. Among the janitors who keep the place spotless, there is a discreet man, almost invisible, working behind the scenes. He is not a star, nor does he appear in the headlines, but his heart carries a burden that few can imagine. Cristiano Ronaldo notices the employee as he walks to get a bottle of water during a training break. It is not by chance. Something in the janitor's eyes catches his attention. It is a mix of exhaustion and concern, as if he were carrying the world on his shoulders. Cristiano Ronaldo notices that he was crying and, without hesitation, does something unexpected. He starts a conversation. "How are you?" he asks, with a genuine tone that surprises the janitor. At first, the man is shy, but soon he starts talking about his life, or rather, about his son's life. Matthew is only 13 years old and lives in a humble neighborhood in the city. Despite the hardships, he has always dreamed of being like Cristiano Ronaldo. As soon as he got home from school, he would spend hours playing football barefoot with friends, using a ball that was already very worn out. Now, his son has been hospitalized for several months, diagnosed with leukemia, and the father has just been informed that the disease is at an advanced stage and his son urgently needs a bone marrow transplant. He has been on the waiting list for a long time, but there are no donors for his case. The family had already lost hope because he was showing significant weakness. As he listens to the story, Ronaldo feels something he rarely shows in public: a lump in his throat. He knows well the power of dreams. After all, he also grew up in a modest neighborhood, fighting against all odds to get where he is today. But here is a boy whose dream may never come true unless someone intervenes. The janitor says that the boy loves watching Ronaldo's games on TV, and that, even though he is sick, he still talks about playing football with his school friends. The boy's father says that he would spend hours watching Ronaldo's games on TV, imitating every move. He even had a poster stuck to the wall above his bed, an image of Ronaldo celebrating a goal, arms raised, face overflowing with joy. "He always said he wanted to meet you one day," he reveals, holding back tears. Cristiano Ronaldo asks the father if there is any way he can help, and the father hesitates for a moment, as if afraid to ask for too much. "Honestly," he responds, his voice almost a whisper, "if you could visit him, it would be his greatest joy. But it needs to be soon. He is not well." The words hang in the air, filled with urgency and hope. Ronaldo remains silent for a few seconds, processing everything. He knows that this meeting will not just be another story to tell. It will be something bigger. But before he can say anything, the coach calls everyone back to the field. Cristiano Ronaldo asks for his name, pats the janitor on the shoulder, and promises, "We'll talk later." What will Ronaldo do next? How can this story change the boy's life? Meanwhile, Ronaldo couldn't get that story out of his head. During training, he was distracted, deep in thought. He knew he needed to do something, but what? How could someone so powerful help such a small child? These questions echoed in his mind as he returned home that night. Is there a way to turn this situation around? And, more importantly, can he be part of the solution? A visit, a signed jersey, or something similar, would that really make a difference in the boy's recovery? He needed to do something more effective to urgently secure the bone marrow transplant for the boy. What will Ronaldo do to help the boy? How will this gesture impact both their lives, and perhaps even inspire others around the world to do the same? In the hospital, the hallways echo with the sound of hurried footsteps and muffled conversations between doctors and nurses. The boy lies in a bed, surrounded by machines that monitor every beat of his heart. He looks too small to face something so big. His eyes, though tired, still hold a faint glimmer of hope, but everyone knows that time is running out. The advanced leukemia has already taken so much from him. Chemotherapy treatments have left visible marks: pale skin, a bald head, a fragile body. Even so, he smiles when he talks about Cristiano Ronaldo. "He is the best player in the world," says the boy, holding a soccer ball that his friends brought to cheer him up. "I just wanted to meet him." His words are simple, but carry the weight of a dream that seems increasingly out of reach. Doctors explain to the family that the only way to save the boy is a compatible bone marrow transplant. But finding a donor is not easy. Tests have been conducted, records checked, and so far, nothing. With each passing day, the tension grows. Matthew's mother stays by his bedside 24 hours a day, praying while he sleeps, holding his hand as if that could transfer some of her strength to him. Meanwhile, Ronaldo can't stop thinking about the story. He knows there is something he can do, something bigger than just offering financial support. But can he really be the solution? He consults his personal doctors to understand the bone marrow donation process. "Is it safe?" he asks, concerned but determined. "What are the chances that I'm a match?" The doctors explain that compatibility is rare but possible. They emphasize that, although it is a relatively simple procedure for the donor, there are still risks involved. Ronaldo listens carefully, weighing every word. He knows this decision goes beyond himself. It's about giving a chance to someone who has barely had the opportunity to live. What will Ronaldo discover in the tests? Could he be the answer to this family's prayers? And what does this mean for the boy's future, whose dream of meeting his idol might come true in a way he never imagined? Cristiano Ronaldo has never been someone to shy away from a challenge. From his early days dribbling past much bigger opponents on the streets of Madeira, Portugal, to becoming the iconic player we know today, his life has always been defined by resilience and determination. But now, he faces something different, something that doesn't involve goals or trophies, but rather a decision that could change the life of a 13-year-old boy. The preliminary tests revealed something extraordinary. Ronaldo is a compatible bone marrow donor for the boy. The news arrives like a bolt of lightning in the middle of a storm. On one hand, there is relief. Finally, there is a real chance to save the child. On the other hand, there is apprehension. Although the procedure is relatively simple for the donor, it still carries risks. Another concern for Cristiano Ronaldo is whether his contract with the team allows him to undergo this type of procedure and what contractual restrictions apply to him. His lawyers informed him that there was no contractual restriction, but there was an issue regarding his life insurance coverage or the potential risk of Ronaldo no longer being able to play football due to the procedure. If anything were to happen to him, he would not receive any payout from his policy, involving millions of dollars. He decides to move forward, driven by something greater than himself. But Cristiano Ronaldo is determined, with the same conviction he shows on the field. He begins to prepare for what lies ahead. Additional tests are conducted, and the doctors explain every step of the process. Despite all his fame and fortune, at this moment, Ronaldo is just a man willing to give a part of himself to help another person. Meanwhile, at the hospital, the boy continues to fight against time. His condition is deteriorating rapidly, and the doctors know that every day counts. When his parents receive the news that there is a compatible donor, they can barely hold back their tears. "It's like a miracle," says the mother, clasping her trembling hands as she prays silently. They still don't know who the donor is, but just knowing that there is a chance already brings a glimmer of hope to their weary hearts. Ronaldo, in turn, feels the weight of responsibility growing inside him. He visits the hospital for the first time, walking through the sterile hallways while observing other patients and their families. Children play in wheelchairs, parents nap beside hospital beds, and doctors rush from one side to the other. It is a world far from the football fields where he feels invincible. Here, life is fragile, precious, and often unfair. There are no reporters. The press has not been notified. Everything is being kept confidential. What will happen on the day of the surgery? How will Cristiano Ronaldo handle the tension of putting his health at risk to save a child he doesn't even know personally? And how will this decision impact his own journey as a human being and a global icon? The day dawned grey, as if the sky itself were holding its breath. At the hospital, the medical team was already in motion, preparing everything for the big moment. Cristiano Ronaldo arrived early, dressed in simple clothes, with an expression that mixed determination and nervousness. He knew this was not a game where he could rely on his skill or physical strength. Here, he was giving a part of himself, literally, to save a life. The doctors led him to the preparation room. As he lay down on the stretcher, thoughts raced through his mind. He imagined the boy, so full of dreams and passion for football, fighting against a cruel disease. "This child deserves a chance," Ronaldo whispered to himself, as if renewing his commitment to the mission. A nurse adjusted the monitors beside him, while another administered serum into his arm. The sound of the heart monitor filled the silence, each beep echoing as a reminder that even the greatest icons are, in the end, human. The surgery began. The medical team worked with precision, extracting the necessary stem cells for the transplant. Meanwhile, in the hospital room, the boy watched TV, distracted by cartoons, unaware that at that very moment his idol was fighting for him. Matthew's parents waited anxiously in the hallway. They still didn't know who the donor was, but they felt that something extraordinary was about to happen. "God is listening to us," the mother murmured, squeezing her husband's hand. The father just nodded, trying to hold back his tears. On the other side of the hospital, Cristiano Ronaldo, still drowsy from the anesthesia, was being taken back to the recovery room. He looked at the ceiling as the stretcher moved through the cold, white corridors, the lights flickering above him. The sound of the heart monitor gradually faded, replaced by the distant hum of doctors' conversations. He closed his eyes for a moment, exhausted but relieved to have done his part. But now comes the question that lingers in the air. Will the transplant work? How will the boy react to receiving his idol's stem cells? And what will happen when Ronaldo finally meets the child face to face for the first time? Weeks had passed since the transplant, and the hospital was silent except for the soft beeping of monitors tracking every beat of the boy's heart. It was a delicate period, the moment of truth. The doctors carefully monitored any signs of rejection or complications. For the family, each day was an emotional roller coaster. They knew the boy's body was fighting to accept the new stem cells, but they also felt a growing sense of hope. He seemed stronger, more alert. His eyes, once dull, were beginning to shine again. And then, it happened. The doctor entered the room with a subtle yet significant smile. "He's responding well," he said, holding the medical charts as if they were a treasure. "The cells are integrating. He has a real chance now." The boy's mother broke into tears while the father embraced them both tightly, murmuring words of gratitude. It was as if the weight of years of struggle had finally begun to lift. The boy, still weak but full of renewed energy, began to dream again. He asked about his idol every day. Who was the donor? He asked, curious. His parents only smiled, promising that he would find out soon. Meanwhile, Ronaldo was far away, but no less involved. He followed the boy's progress through medical updates, feeling a mixture of relief and anticipation. Knowing that his decision had worked was a personal victory, something no trophy could ever match. But Ronaldo wanted more. He decided to visit the boy in person. On the scheduled day, he walked into the hospital room with light steps, carrying a signed Al Nassr jersey. The boy was sitting on the bed, still fragile, but with a smile that lit up the entire room. When he saw Ronaldo, his eyes widened in surprise and admiration. Mateus began to cry, barely believing what he was seeing. Cristiano Ronaldo laughed, handing him the jersey. "You are very brave, Matthew," he said, with a sincerity that deeply touched everyone in the room. The connection between them was immediate. The boy could hardly believe that his idol was there, right beside him, after everything he had done for him. But Cristiano Ronaldo had more surprises in store. He whispered something in the boy's ear, making him even more excited. What did Ronaldo promise the boy? How will this meeting further transform the life of this child and his family? And what will be the next step in this emotional journey? The boy could barely believe what was happening. There, sitting on his hospital bed, he held a jersey signed by Cristiano Ronaldo. Not just any jersey, but one worn in an official Al Nassr match. To him, it was more than a gift. It was tangible proof that his idol had been by his side during the most difficult moments of his life. But Cristiano Ronaldo still had something more to offer. "You like football, right?" Ronaldo asked with a warm smile as he handed over 2 VIP tickets for his team's next big match. "These are for you and your parents. I want you to see what it's like to be there, live." The boy's eyes widened in disbelief. Watching a match live would already be a dream come true, but watching his idol play, it was almost unbelievable. He could barely hold back tears of emotion as his parents exchanged looks of pure gratitude. In the following days, the boy began preparing for the big day. Although he was still weak, he was determined to go to the stadium. His family helped Matthew choose the perfect outfit. Of course, he would wear the jersey autographed by Ronaldo. On match day, the stadium was packed, buzzing with the energy of thousands of fans. When the boy entered with his parents, he felt something he had never felt before. He wasn't just a fan, he was part of history. Ronaldo knew the boy would be in the stands. Before the game began, he thought about the words he had whispered into the boy's ear during his hospital visit. "I'll score a goal for you," Ronaldo had said. Those words echoed in the boy's mind as he watched the players warm up, eagerly anticipating the start of the match. The stadium was in ecstasy, with thousands of fans cheering at every play. But for the boy in the stands, every moment felt like part of a dream he never imagined living. He was wearing his beloved team's jersey, as if it were a talisman connecting him even more to his idol. His heart pounded as he watched Ronaldo run across the field, determined and focused as always. The match was tense. The score was 1-1 in the second half, and the team desperately needed a goal to secure the victory. And then, it happened. Ronaldo received the ball at the edge of the box, dribbled past 2 defenders with his signature agility, and shot with surgical precision. The ball hit the top right corner of the net, sending the crowd into a frenzy. But what truly caught everyone's attention was what Cristiano Ronaldo did next. He ran toward the stands, pointing directly at the boy. "This goal is for you," he said, not with words, but with gestures that spoke louder than any speech. The boy froze for a moment, in disbelief, before bursting into tears of joy. His mother hugged him tightly, while his father recorded everything, knowing that this moment would forever be etched in the family's memory. The dedication didn't go unnoticed. Sports commentators highlighted the emotional gesture, speculating about who the boy was and the story behind that moment. Social media quickly filled with posts about Cristiano Ronaldo's act, with fans around the world praising his generosity and humanity. It was more than just a goal. It was a symbol of hope, compassion, and human connection.